All right, it's 2016, April 7th, WikiSpeed Stand-Up call. I'm going to start the call off by reading a brief Agile-related passage, and this is actually from the Agile Manifesto. Um, it's in the section where they talk about the four values, but it's a section I really haven't heard discussed that much amongst Agile practitioners. So the values are things like responding to change over following a plan. So this part written right under the four values is, that is, while there is value in the items on the right, we value the items on the left more. So I just wanted to get that read. And then I believe that Lauren is going to kick us off for the stand-up.
Yeah. Basically, this past week, I didn't do anything on the charitable status. There's a few odds and ends I can do, but basically, let's see. Okay. First of all, I'm going to do what I hope this week I get unblocked and be able to finish the charitable status in some kind of a draft. Blocks are. I'm still waiting to get some dental work done, but I managed to I removed a block of being in pain, and I'm waiting for Joe to review the seemingly identical um, uh, uh, data for a couple of years in the books, and blocks are that's the blocks, and so that's it for me.
All right, thank you, Lauren. So I always have way too many buttons to click here. Okay. Last week, I was able to complete, like actually right after the call, I was able to complete the Event Manager CAPTCHA feature on our Register as Interested Innovation Racing Series page. I went ahead and shared that link on the WikiSpeed Facebook page, and we received several legitimate interested entries from that share, and we haven't received any spam entries since the CAPTCHA feature has been implemented. In the shop, I started with our process improvement for last week was going back to the basics, and in doing so, I populated and prioritized the sprint backlog before the build party began. It actually worked out really well. I was able to estimate everything, plan it out, and complete everything that was pulled into the sprint for that build party. I also drilled the rest of the middle crossbeam assembly chassis tube, and I created the Burleson, Texas, USA shop Trello board. For next week, I'll get the middle crossbeam assembly assembled. I plan on, if that goes, if I'm able to complete that, I'm not sure how fast it's going to go yet. I will mark and drill the long chassis tubes. And then I'm also going to research some custom roles in WordPress to see if they'll be needed or even useful for the like entry profile pages for the Innovation Racing Series. We'd like to have a page for each entry that has some information about the car, and then has a link to eBay Motors to be able to basically bid or purchase the car after the race. And then also the ability to purchase advertising that would be placed on the car. So I just need to, I'm not exactly sure how that's going to play out, so I'm starting to look at the capabilities of WordPress and kind of the idea of how I think it might work. I also want to go ahead and set up the Slack integration for the Burleson, Texas USA shop, so have a channel for it in Slack and in Trello updates when you make changes there. As far as blocks, I don't have any. A few that came up during the week, the team actually helped me knock them out right as they came up. So at this point, I think I've got a decent idea of what I'm going to be doing this sprint. And as I run across blocks, I'll let the team know then. So that wraps it up for me. So did you want to take us away with retrospective and process improvement, Lauren?
Yeah, sorry. So I'm going to, I'll give myself a 3. I've just been monitoring stuff, and give the team a 10. And process improvement. Um, I can't think of anything, so that'll be it for me.
Thank you, Lauren. I'm going to go with a 9 for me. I think I did pretty good, but there's always room for improvement. Really, at this point, I'm trying to figure out how to speed up on things that I'm doing that I'm not super familiar with. And it's definitely a 10 for the team. Again, helping me remove my blocks speeds me up, and you know, I think that's an excellent goal for the team. As far as process improvement, I was thinking that maybe for people that would like to, after the essential ceremonies are done here, we do the general discussion. That might be a time, maybe at the end of that, beginning, I don't know when, but to do estimation on the tasks that basically people mentioned they were going to be doing next week. So what we pulled into the sprint, if people would like to try to, play around with doing some estimation on it. And so that would be it for me. And actually this week, I actually already have this stuff estimated. So I don't know that we need to do it this week, but I don't know. I think that might be a decent process improvement to try, and that wraps it up for me. I think since we only have one, that's probably going to go. But I will ask you, Lauren, do you have any revisions, counters, or anything for that process improvement suggestion? I didn't hear you. I saw the mute go off for a second.
Yeah. Okay. No, I don't.
Okay. Good. Well, you know what? I think that's wrapped up, and we're shipping it.
Okay.
So that brings us into general discussion. You know what I didn't do that we normally do is vote on last week's process improvement, which I actually used. It was the back to the basics. So I'll go ahead and say my vote's a yay on that one. Did you have a vote either way, Lauren?
No.
Okay. Good deal. So that brings us into a general discussion. Is there anything right off the bat that the blocks that you had, I guess, with those 2 years, if I remember, is it like 2012 and 2013 or something?
Yeah.
Is there anything that you think I would be able to help by looking that over?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, and like I said, I don't really have any blocks, so I don't have too much to discuss this week right now. I've been kind of keeping everybody
Okay.
updated in the various, in the forum and in Slack. So
Get that camera off. And yeah, so I was going to just look at the spreadsheet,
okay.
so that I'm not looking at the conference right now, but I can actually. So did we had a did we yeah, I'm going to look at what the process improvement last week was. So what I do is I just go to the WikiSpeed page.
Yeah, and there's 2 links, one on the side and one right on the top of the main page. I guess this is a good time to mention that's publicly viewable to anyone if they're interested in the information. Watching this video, they can go to wikispeed.org and check out our weekly process improvements, and whether what our vote on was, whether they worked or not. We track points for different shops in there, which I have that information, but I don't have it with me, so I'll have to add that this week.
Now, I had. Oh, here it is. I see one of the links. Oh, there it is. Yeah, now I see them both. They just took a while. Yeah. Okay. So the 31st was one story of backlog to immediately actionable. before time starts for physical work. Bring at least top one story of backlog. Jeez, I think I did this and I was not in good shape last week. I'll correct the spelling. And yeah, it looks like vote. Yeah, so I already had that down as done, but okay. So can you rephrase again for this week the?
Yeah, so during open discussion at the end of the stand-up call,
Yeah.
have an estimation session for tasks that were pulled into this upcoming sprint.
Uh, so, oh yeah, estimation during. And are you talking about the open discussion?
Yeah, I mean that'll be right. So after the essential ceremonies are done, if because at that point people can drop off the call if people want to stay. I would pretty much leave it up to whoever is involved in that whether they want to do it at the beginning, middle, or end of the open discussion. So.
Right, right. Yeah. So for backlog items, is that?
Right. So yeah, I'm probably not explaining this great, but basically, like for the things that each team member has listed during the stand-up as what they're going to attempt to do next week, each of those tasks we can take a shot at estimating.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. No, that's terrific. That's a really good idea because then it would kind of speed up the other part.
yeah, I think one of the issues that we run into, like in the shop, I estimate everything, but it's right
Yeah.
there on a on a big whiteboard and kind of easy to do for me. But it's more difficult. Our distributed team, we don't have it. We have a tendency not to estimate things, so we're not gaining the benefit of stories that have been estimated where we know about how complex they're going to be and things like that.
And it looks like Linwood has a velocity
Yeah,
entered, even though I didn't have a long time
actually, I
ago.
think Joe did that one last week.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and I have that information posted up on the wall. The previous so
yeah.
last week I was not in the shop, so it was actually
You have it for the 10th, for March the 10th and before.
yeah. The following one I didn't go to the shop, so there's actually a zero velocity in the shop. All the work was done on the distributed teams task,
Right.
which I didn't estimate. And then this last week, I have the picture of the completed stories in my phone. I just need to transfer those over, and I can take care of those anytime this week.
Right. Yeah. So sorry about the technical. Well, yeah, maybe.
Oh yeah, that's fine, no problem.
Yeah. Um, so I like basically the wired connection works, but even though the Wi-Fi is showing as 30 download
All right,
and 3 upload, it's still it
it's
must have been intermittent or
yeah, it
something.
must be dropping packets or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good deal. Well,
Okay.
it wasn't too bad at night anyway. So. Well, cool deal. Did you have anything else you wanted to discuss, Lauren?
And I don't. I can't think of anything else. I'm thinking of going over my course I took in near Seattle at Bellevue
Okay.
2 years ago on Scrum. I've been because you kind of reminded me, and I wanted to kind of look at some of that again.
That yeah, that reminds me. This last week, I actually spent quite a bit of time um, just looking into agile in general.
Right.
Basically, looking into best practices that end up happening in Scrum environments,
Right.
not just the base core Scrum framework, and then looking at some other like agile scaling techniques. trying to compare some of them, get an overview, because I'm kind of at that point where that's sort of the next step of what I feel like I need to start getting learning about is how to scale Scrum or Agile effectively. So I actually
that
spent.
reminds me, I got from that Constructs place, I got a notice about scaling. So I'll forward it to you.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, there's several different techniques that people use or to basically take what was designed to be a team of 5 to 9 people and scale that up to hundreds or thousands of people in an organization. And then the typical way you do it is by keeping those teams of self-organizing teams of 5 to 9 people. And then having like a scrum of scrums and things like that, so information can flow through the organization and blocks can be removed overall.
Right,
That's
and so this one's called Nexus.
Yeah, Nexus was created by Ken Schwaber, or Schwab. I always pronounce his name wrong, I think.
Yeah.
I've looked into that one too. I haven't given it a full read over yet,
right.
But yeah, I got a good overview of it.
Yeah, I'm sending it to you. Okay.
And I think the Nexus is designed for up to 150 people, and then there's Nexus Plus for organizations that are larger than that.
Right.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, that's kind of it for me.
Okay. Well, good deal, Lauren. I think I'm going to go ahead and jump off the call, and
Yep.
I will see you next week.
Yep.
Awesome.
Okay.
It's great seeing you, man.
Yeah. Talk to you later. Bye.
All right, later.